We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to participate in pivotal SCO Heads of State Summit in Moscow, shaping the organization's strategic priorities and future membership. India urges developed nations to show greater climate ambition, deliver on past commitments and ensure affordable, barrier-free green technologies at COP30 summit in Brazil. Protest in Bangladesh continues, yet under control after verdict on Hasina. Media gag tightens as India calls for peace and stability. And House of Representatives poised for historic vote on Epstein records as Trump reverses opposition following bipartisan push and calls from survivors. And on to the details. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, who is on a 3-day visit to Russia, will attend the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that is the SCO Heads of State Council meeting in Moscow. Well, the SCO Heads of State Council meeting is the supreme organ and highest decision-making body of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It convenes once every year, bringing together the presidents and prime ministers of all member states. Now, the Heads of State Council sets the organization's political direction, defines its priorities, adopts key documents, and holds the authority to approve new members as well as various partnership categories. Now, this annual summit serves as the primary platform for shaping SCO strategy and strengthening multilateral cooperation among member nations. And earlier in the day, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. The leaders held discussions on bilateral partnership covering trade and investment, energy, mobility, agriculture, technology, culture and people-to-people exchanges. They also exchanged perspectives on regional, global and multilateral issues. Now, Jaishankar and Lavrov also reviewed preparations for the 23rd Annual India-Russia Summit, set to take place in just 3 weeks from now.
This particular occasion, for me, is all the more important as we prepare for President Putin's visit to India for the 23rd Annual Summit. A number of bilateral agreements, initiatives and projects are under discussion in various fields. We look forward to the finalization in the coming days. This will certainly add more substance and texture to our special and privileged strategic partnership. We will also be exchanging views on the complex global situation with the openness that has always characterized our ties. This includes the Ukraine conflict as also the Middle East and Afghanistan, amongst others. India supports recent efforts towards establishing peace. We hope that all parties approach that goal constructively. An early cessation of the conflict and ensuring of an enduring peace is in the interest of the entire international community. India-Russia ties have long been a factor of stability in international relations. Its growth and evolution is not only in our mutual interest, but also in that of the world. I look forward to our discussions this evening. Thank you.
While here in New Delhi, Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterway Sarbananda Sonowal held a meeting with President Putin's aide Nikolai Patrushev. Two sides had fruitful discussions on boosting maritime cooperation, enhancing connectivity and partnership in the Indo-Pacific and Arctic regions. Now, the minister expressed confidence that the shared vision and long-standing friendship between the two countries will further advance a strong, future-ready maritime collaboration between our nations. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India-Russia relations continue to deepen, especially in the maritime domain. And for more, we have Akshay Dongre joining us from the newsroom. Well, Akshay, with Dr. Jaishankar and Sergey Lavrov discussing a wide range of bilateral issues from trade and energy to technology and mobility. What concrete outcomes or agreements can we expect to emerge from this visit, especially with the India-Russia annual summit just 3 weeks away now?
Well, it seems like a precursor to that very visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin to New Delhi. As far as the annual summit is concerned, it has held quite significant, move as far as the two countries are concerned, and we can expect some concrete results of this meeting as well as the upcoming meet in a few weeks when President Putin meets Prime Minister Modi as well as his counterpart here in India. So India and Russia, as we all know, are quite friendly nations. As far as the history of the two countries are concerned, they have held close ties, not only in terms of defense, but in terms of energy security, in terms of economics, in terms of trade, in terms of people-to-people connect as well, and cultural and traditional ties that have remained steadfast between the two countries. So as far as the expectations of the Indian side is concerned, we surely are expecting agreements over in the energy sector. We are expecting the trade ties to reach their maximum potential. Defense ties are quite essential part of the two countries, where India has been a legacy operator of Russian arms, as well as has been manufacturing some state-of-the-art technology of Russian origin, including Sukhoi 30 MKI that the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has been manufacturing here in India, along with co-ventures such as the BrahMos missile that has the name of Brahmaputra River and the Moskva River of the two countries. The ties have been quite significant. There has been mutual respect. So as far as the current situation, current international scenarios are concerned, India has advocated for peace. India has advocated for diplomacy as far as the Ukraine conflict is concerned, and has remained a steadfast ally of Russia as well as a friendly country to Ukraine too. So what we are expecting in terms of outcome is trade ties, economic ties, cultural enhancement of cultural relations between the two countries, defense ties, as well as a range of other areas which can be enhanced by the two countries, including healthcare, education, and other areas of cultural engagement as well. Back to you, Akshay.
All right, Akshay, also as the SCO heads of the State Council sets the organization's political direction for the year, what key priorities is India expected to push at this summit, particularly regarding the regional security, connectivity and counter-terrorism?
Well, as far as counterterrorism is concerned, Russia has remained an ally of India that has supported its cause of action against terrorism. Russia has been there providing some of the best technologies it has, and it is developing, in fact, for future purposes as well, to act against the terror outfits and countries that have been harboring terror groups in their territory, from missiles to fighter jets to tanks. If you look at the two countries, there has always been cooperation. But as far as India's push is concerned, for this year as well as the upcoming years, a clear and precise strategy to act and call out terror activities and countries harboring terrorism is perhaps one of the most important ones. But a part of that, resolution of conflict, insurance of food supplies to the countries of the global south also remain key on agenda, including other areas that can be touched upon by the two countries. That includes advanced manufacturing, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, collaboration in these areas as well, as far as the two economies are concerned.
Also, most importantly, Akshay, given the current geopolitical tensions and the shifting alliances patterns globally right now, how significant is it of External Affairs Ministers Dr. Jaishankar to be present in Moscow at this moment?
Well, quite significant, and especially this being a precursor to the visit that is an upcoming visit of President Putin to India. This is a visit that is attracting eyeballs from all across the world, because
right.
It is going to be a defining partnership as far as the region is concerned. Both both the Asian continent as well as Europe, where we are seeing conflicts in both the continents. So it is going to be a defining partnership as well as friendship. And leaders from all around the world will be looking at the outcomes of the meeting between the two leaderships.
All right, it was a defining moment and a very significant visit indeed. Thank you so much, Akshay, for all those details. And moving on, India has issued an advisory on suspension of visa waiver facility extended to citizens travelling to Iran. Now, the Ministry of External Affairs in a statement said that the attention of government has been drawn to several incidents of Indian nationals being lured to Iran on false promises of employment or with assurances of onward transit to third countries. These individuals were tricked into journeying to Iran by taking advantage of the visa waiver facility available for ordinary Indian passport holders. Now, on arrival in Iran, many of them were kidnapped for ransom. The government of the Islamic Republic of Iran has accordingly suspended the visa waiver facility available to ordinary Indian passport holders visiting Iran with effect from 22nd of November 2025. Now, this measure is intended to prevent further misuse of the facility by criminal elements. Also, from this date, Indian nationals with ordinary passports would be required to obtain a visa to enter or transit through Iran. Now, all the Indian nationals intended to visit Iran are strongly advised to remain vigilant and avoid agents offering visa-free travel or onward transit to third countries via Iran. And moving on, U.S. Representatives Amy Bera, the longest-serving Indian-American member of Congress, and Joe Wilson introduced a bipartisan resolution recognizing the strategic value of the historical partnership between the United States and India. Now, the resolution underscores decades of deepening cooperation between two of the world's largest democracies across critical sectors, including defense, technology, trade, counterterrorism and education. Now, it also highlights India's vital role in promoting regional stability, economic growth and a free and open Indo-Pacific. The measure calls for continued cooperation between the United States and India to confront 21st century challenges from counterterrorism and cyber threats to emerging technologies. It also recognizes the enduring people-to-people ties between the two nations, which continue to be strengthened by an Indian-American diaspora. Well, the resolution has garnered a strong bipartisan support with 24 total original co-sponsors as well. And back home, Air India has announced the resumption of its non-stop flights between Delhi and Shanghai from February 2026, marking Air India's return to mainland China after nearly 6 years. Now, subject to the requisite regulatory approvals, Air India also intends to introduce non-stop flights between Mumbai and Shanghai in 2026. Well, Air India will operate 4 times a week between Delhi and Shanghai using its twin-aisle Boeing 788 aircraft. The reinstatement of Air India's services to Shanghai follows recent India-China diplomatic agreements that restored the air links paused in early 2020. Air India first launched non-stop services to mainland China in October 2000. And still to come in DD India News Now. Indian Coast Guard intercepts 3 Bangladeshi fishing boats with 79 crew for illegal fishing in Bay of Bengal. NIA produces Jasir Bilalwani in Red Fort blast case, co-conspirator already in custody. And Andhra Pradesh Greyhounds kill top Naxal commander Hidma and 5 associates in major encounter.
geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on. At COP30, India has called for developed countries to reach net zero earlier and deliver climate finance in trillions. Now, Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, said the summit should be a COP of implementation and of delivery on promises.
Urged developed countries to demonstrate greater climate ambition and honor their commitments while delivering national statement at COP30 in Belém, Brazil. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change Bhupendra Yadav called for COP30 to be remembered as a COP of implementation and a COP of delivery on promises. The minister conveyed India's appreciation to the government and people of Brazil for hosting COP30 in the heart of Amazon.
Under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, India has demonstrated successfully that development and environmental stewardship can advance in tandem. India's emission intensity has declined by over 36% since 2005. India's non-fossil fuel-based energy capacity, currently around 256 gigawatt, accounts for more than half of its total electric installed capacity. An NDC target achieved 5 years ahead of this schedule. Initiatives such as the International Solar Alliance and Global Biofuel Alliance have become global platform for performing affordable and clean energy.
India's Minister Bhupendra Yadav also addressed the high-level ministerial segment on the International Big Cat Alliance COP30. He called for renewed global cooperation to protect big cat species and their habitats as part of integrated climate and biodiversity action. Bhupendra Yadav also met UK Secretary of State for Energy Security and Net Zero, Edward Miliband, on the sidelines of the COP30 summit and discussed various issues related to climate. He highlighted the need for collaboration on climate resilience, particularly in vulnerable regions. As many as 18 industries and research institutions from India and Sweden will soon initiate projects involving value creation. Addressing the lead IT industry leaders roundtable, Bhupendra Yadav underscored India's commitment to collaborative, technology-driven and sustainable industrial transitions under the Paris Agreement. COP30 host Brazil on Monday extended negotiations into the night at the UN climate talks as they push for a rapid compromise among countries very much at deep odds. Bureau Report, DD India.
All right, and to discuss more on this India at COP30, we have Dr. Shrikanta K. Panigrahi, Director General, Indian Institute of Sustainable Development, IIST, with us in the studio. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Welcome.
Sir, India has urged developed countries to show greater climate ambition and honor their commitments. From your perspective, what specific commitments are most crucial right now, and how realistic is it to expect stronger pledges this time at COP30?
We had enough pledges. One after another, whole globe has pledged after pledged. And this is high time for implementation and action in real sense,
right.
Which Indian Honorable Minister has already reiterated. And the, among promises, India has committed to become net zero by 2070, but now India is calling the entire planet that they should target to become net zero much before what they have committed.
Right.
And for that, more stronger action is required. We had the information by UNEP report that 1.5 degree, the benchmark, we are far from that, and we have exceeding that limit, that Lakshman Rekha, which creates challenges for the nation and nations throughout the globe. So we are committed enough. We don't have enough technology. We don't have IPR, the money for IPR, and we don't have even enough climate finance available with us. So we are at a crucial juncture. There are two wars is going on. All of us are witnessing.
Right.
So we need actions, and for which it has been too delayed.
Right. India, as you mentioned, India is strongly committed, and Minister Bhupendra Yadav also called for COP30 to be remembered as a COP of implementation and delivery on promises. What would a meaningful implementation look like on the ground, especially for developing countries like India this time?
Implementation on ground is extremely important. We have our commitment. If you see our NDC, National Determined Contributions, in Kyoto Protocol, the developed nations who are more responsible for the present situation were given targets, but they could able to hardly do 11.23%. So Kyoto Protocol failed. In Paris, who has done what forget. Whole world is at the crisis. So let us reduce our own footprint, and also if we can reduce some others' footprint as well. So whole world is coming forward to commit higher and higher through their NDCs, National Determined Contributions, and these NDCs are becoming more and more ambitious, and more stronger and stronger commitments are made each year. Every country is having their adaptation plan, their mitigation plan, and this is and everybody, irrespective of the economic disparities and other kind of problem, is coming forward to do their best under a Paris regime.
Right.
In India, we are developing carbon markets inside the country, and there is an international market, carbon market already under Article 6.2. So all the efforts in multiple directions for emission reduction and to make the world more livable.
Right. So you said that, of course, the whole world is in crisis right now. India has stressed the need for more affordable, accessible climate technologies free from the restrictive IP barriers. How big a hurdle is the intellectual property regime in the scaling of green technologies globally right now?
Very important question. If you see, the technology transfer is the key and in the center of the matter. And if we don't have enough technology, we'll not able to address the problem of emission reduction. And the poor and developing nations don't have much research funding available with them, for which the technologies are also not much available with them. So they are looking for technologies from the developed nations, and it is becoming prohibitive because of the cost, and the IPR cost is too high, which is enhancing the cost of the technology, which is beyond the reach of the developing and poor nations. And unless these technologies are procured in right time, the countries, we are afraid the NDCs which is committed by the developing country will not be achieved. And there is many issues. Everybody knows about
right.
climate justice
right.
and other kind of issues. So there is a great demand that IPR cost can be marginally reduced to enable the developing nations and the poorer nations to enhance their comfort level, to opt for right technology which will help them in emission reduction.
All right, so the cost has to be reduced. But India also highlighted the big cat conservation through the International Big Cat Alliance. How does protecting these species tie into the broader climate and biodiversity strategies at COP30 also?
The big cat is an indicator of ecosystem stability.
Right.
If any of the species is in danger, and we are losing our rich biodiversity, and Belem Cope is extremely important because it is nature cope.
Yes.
And it is happening in the lap of Amazon, and a lot of indigenous people are also have come forward to ask for their rights. And our plants and animals combinedly along with humans make the life sustainable. And unfortunately, because constant rise in temperature, about 35 to 37 of our rich biodiversity in terms of plants, animals and avifauna, that the birds, we have already got extincted by now. And if it keeps happening, the planet, it will be difficult planet to make it more livable, and the temperature will geometrically rise. So there has to be a balance between ecosystems, the air pressure belts, ocean current belts, and biodiversity. And to maintain that, big cat is a symbol of conservation, it is a symbol of sustenance, it is a symbol of life, which is the priority for India.
All right. But based on India's renewable rollout, what lessons can other emerging economies learn from India's approach? Because India is literally leading in sustainable development right now. And COP30 president said the time of promises is over, with negotiations, as we know, extended late into the night. What are the best and worst case scenarios for the final outcome this week?
The final outcome this week is extremely important because it is the last week of the COP. And there is a lot of debate and discussion. Nothing much has been emerged. The problem is the three largest emitting countries, country heads are missing in the negotiation. And
Right.
There are many global geopolitical crises are parallelly happening. And this stress, this COP is not moving at the speed that it is likely to. So in such a situation, there are promises and promises. The stock take, global stock take will come up. The global climate action plans will come up. The mitigations plans, both as adaptation plans, will come up. And all these, to implement all these plans, we need money, we need climate
Right.
finance,
Right.
which is missing. And it is not ordinary finance. It is trillions of dollars per year till 2035 is urgently required to stabilize planet's climate. And this is a huge money. And the multilaterals finance sources is drying up. They have all committed their best in COP29, and right now in COP19,
Right.
29, that is in Baku, and now in Belem. Those commitments, since are insignificant and very little peanuts in comparison to the total requirement, the whole entire world needs to come stronger with financial commitment,
Right.
not only commitment but augmentation, and accelerating their climate action to make the planet livable for everyone.
Finance is, of course, a very important point out there, and a lot is expected from this COP30. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us in the studio and giving us all that information.
Thank you very much.
And moving on, President Draupadi Murmu on Tuesday conferred the 6th National Water Awards at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi, honouring individuals, institutions and states for exceptional work in water conservation and management. Well, a total of 46 winners across 10 categories received the prestigious awards aimed at encouraging sustainable water practices in line with the government's vision of a Jal Samridh Bharat. Take a look at this report for more.
New Delhi's Vigyan Bhavan, the country's highest office, honoured the nation's finest water champions on Tuesday. President Draupadi Murmu presented the 6th National Water Award celebrating outstanding contributions in rejuvenating rivers, conserving groundwater, promoting efficient irrigation, and innovating in community water management. This year, 46 winners, including joint winners across 10 categories, were selected from 751 applications received through the National Awards portal. The awards recognize excellence in fields ranging from state-level governance to grassroots innovation.
हमारे देश में जल का 80% उपयोग कृषि क्षेत्रों में होता है। इसीलिए कृषि क्षेत्र में जल के सक्षम उपयोग पर सबसे अधिक जोर देने की आवश्यकता है। निरंतर इनोवेशंस करते रहने की आवश्यकता है। जनशक्ति के बल पर ही जल शक्ति का संचयन और संरक्षण किया जा सकता है।
In the category of Best State, Maharashtra secured the first prize, followed by Gujarat and Haryana. The awards also honor top performers in districts, village panchayats, schools, industries, water user associations, institutions, civil society groups, and individuals driving change in the water sector. Among the standout categories, village panchayats were recognized for pioneering rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharge. Urban local bodies were awarded for transforming wastewater management, while schools and colleges showcased innovative awareness campaigns. Industries received honors for cutting down water usage through recycling and modern treatment technologies. The awards also celebrated civil society organizations and individual water warriors, from grassroots activists reviving local water bodies to innovators developing low-cost solutions for rural water scarcity. The Ministry of Jal Shakti has been presenting the National Water Awards since 2018 to promote a mass movement for water conservation. This year's winners reflect how community participation, science-based tools, and traditional knowledge together can build a water-secure future. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, Indian Coast Guard ships, while undertaking IMBPL surveillance in the northern Bay of Bengal, apprehended 3 Bangladeshi fishing boats along with 79 crew members for illegal fishing inside India's exclusive economic zone on 15th and 16th of November. Now, during routine surveillance, the fishing boats were detected operating well within Indian waters in violation of the maritime zones of India. The Regulation of Fishing by Foreign Vessels Act 1981. The vessels were promptly intercepted, boarded and thoroughly inspected by ICG boarding teams. None of the crews possessed valid authorization or permits to fish within the maritime zones of India. The onboard fishing gear and freshly caught fish confirmed ongoing illegal fishing activity. And moving on to updates on Delhi blast case now, Jasir Bilalwani, National Investigation Agency's second arrest in the Red Fort bomb blast produced before Delhi's Patiala House. This was in connection with the Faridabad terror module bust and the Red Fort blast on November 10th. The accused, a resident of Kazigand in Anantnag district of Jammu and Kashmir, was an active co-conspirator behind the attack and had worked closely with the terrorist Omar Nabi to plan the terror carnage. Well, on Monday, NIA granted a 10-day custody to Umar's co-conspirator Amir Rashid Ali by the Patiala House Court. Kashmir resident Ali was arrested on Sunday. He reportedly conspired with Umar to carry out the terror attack. NIA continues to explore various angles to unravel the conspiracy behind the bombing. And in a major breakthrough, Andhra Pradesh's Greyhounds killed a top Naxal commander, Hidma, and 5 of his associates in a fierce encounter in Alori, Sitaramaraju district of Andhra Pradesh. The Naxal leader, Hidma, had a 1 crore Indian rupee bounty on his head and was involved in several major Naxal attacks. The gunfight, which took place in the morning, followed intelligence on Naxal activities along the Andhra Pradesh-Chhattisgarh-Odisha border. Now, the security forces continue cordon and search operations in the area. And time now for a short break. We'll be back in a while.
Can the US launch
launch a bombing campaign against Iran. The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on. Bangladesh on Tuesday remained calm but tense as security forces kept a tight grip on the streets across major cities following the Awami League's call for a nationwide total shutdown to protest the death sentence handed down to its chief and former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Well, no incident of violence was reported, while traffic in Dhaka and other major cities stayed thin and public movement was limited amid fears of possible unrest following Monday's high-profile verdict. Now, authorities kept security cordons in parts of the capital while checkpoints and barricades remained in place. Hasina's Awami League party, in a statement posted on social media on Monday, called for a nationwide total shutdown on Tuesday in protest against Hasina's verdict. It has also called for nationwide demonstrations, protest and resistance from November 19th to 21st. Now, Bangladesh's deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was on Monday sentenced to death in absentia by a special tribunal for crimes against humanity. Commenting on the verdict, Hasina denied the charges as biased and politically motivated. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's interim government has warned all print, electronic and online media outlets to refrain from reporting statements issued by former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, citing concerns over national security and public order. It also warned that authorities are empowered to remove or block content that threatens national integrity, security or public order. While India remains committed to the best interest of the people of Bangladesh, in a statement, India's Ministry of External Affairs said, and I quote, India has noted the verdict announced by the International Crimes Tribunal of Bangladesh concerning former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. As a close neighbor, India remains committed to the best interest of the people of Bangladesh, including in peace, democracy, inclusion and stability in that country. We always engage constructively with all stakeholders to that end, unquote. And for more, we have Naval Singh Parmar joining us on the phone line from Dhaka. Well, Naval Singh, what is the current situation like there in Dhaka? Give us an overall situation after the verdict. A nationwide total shutdown has also been called for today.
More or less, the law and order situation is under control as the heavily deployment of the security forces in Dhaka and nearby districts. There are few incidents occurred yesterday of violence, of arson and gunfire. Otherwise, the things were under control. Meanwhile, the people who are having a sympathy toward the Awami League party and those are having a liberal thinking, they believe that the trial held in absentia and lack of legal representation raised right concerns for the Hasina, because there was no representation from the Hasina side for her defense. It was a court-appointed defense, and it was not as much strong to defend Sheikh Hasina properly. So the same thing has been raised by the Human Rights Watch right organization, and has alleged that the death penalty against ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina followed a process that failed to meet international fair trial standards, as well as the Amnesty International also question the trial procedure here in ICT Bangladesh that has sentenced Sheikh Hasina for the death.
All right. Thank you so much, Nawal Singh, for all those details from Dhaka. And for more to discuss the Bangladesh situation, we have Professor Sanjay Bharadwaj joining us, School of International Studies, JNU. Thank you, sir, for joining us. In fact, I wanted to ask you that if after yesterday's verdict, Bangladesh appeared calm but very tense today. With such a heavy security presence on the streets, what does this really tell us about the mood in the country and the government's concerns? What should we make out of it?
Thank you for the invite. And Dhaka is calm. It is not because the people, they accepted the verdict. It is because they have there are highly deployed army, and you can say that BGB people all over the country. So it is not allowed the people to come out. This is one. The second thing, that Awami League cadre, they have also called for the Dhaka or Bangladesh Bandh, or they have gone for the strike from today onward to 21st. So it is calm. The people are not coming. People are afraid that because there are order that if you will see anybody any protest, anything, then you can shoot on the street. Or this kind of measures, authoritarian, coercive measures will definitely bring the peace, but the peace should come from the inner side, not by the force, by the gun. And that is happening in Bangladesh. And I'm sure that people are watching and witnessing that Sheikh Hasina was ousted from the power because of her authoritarian, and because of her, she tried to deal the protest by the gun. And now in the same manner, the present interim government led by Mohammad Yunus, though he doesn't have any legitimacy, any constitutional to remain in power, but he is also trying to serve the people's voice by force and by a gun. So this is all is happening, but we have seen yesterday that there were violent protests, that the way the Mandi house of Bangabandhu Mujibur Rahman was destroyed, and in the midnight, the bulldozers was sent by some of the activists from the radicals to destroy the completely Dhanmandi 32, which has been the history of 1971, where Bangabandhu Mujibur Rahman had led the movement to get freedom from Pakistan's army's atrocities. So now I think what the Pakistan army used to do in Bangladesh, now the radicals with the syndicate and with the caucus, they are also trying to shut the voice of the liberal democratic people in Bangladesh, and they have already banned Sheikh Hasina and his political party Awami League to do any political activities. So this is all unfortunate. The people have sacrificed for the democracy, for secularism, for the inclusive culture, but now these are somehow faded away by the authoritarian and radical approach of the present interim government.
All right. Also, if Sheikh Hasina has called the verdict politically motivated, while the interim government says no one is above the law, how do you see this trial? Is it justice or politics playing out through the courts?
See, the verdict was a foregone conclusion, that everybody was aware that what is going to be announced. And this has been announced. So it is not surprising to anyone that what would do. But the issue is that the ICT, which was constituted, revived by Sheikh Hasina herself in 2009 onward, had now is become vindicative, because this ICT is appointed and led by interim government of Mohammad Yunus, and Mohammad Yunus doesn't have any constitutionality, as I said, that doesn't have the legitimacy. If the verdict would have come by an elected government, under free and fair elections, and they would have gone for the trial and come out with the verdict, it may be accepted to the people, but this is not accepted, because this is vindictive, this is all politically motivated, and I think that all the world, including India, should go with the merits of this verdict and take the actions accordingly, because we will not anybody will not promote the authoritarianism and undemocratic practices in any country. The institution, the ICT, all the machineries has been hijacked by one ideology people, and Jamaat-e-Islam, I would say categorically, the radicals, they are now dominating all the institutions, that ministries and universities and police, everywhere they are there. So it is all unfortunate that the people, they sacrificed their life in 1971. 30 lakh people were killed for the democracy, for the secularism, for the inclusive ethos and values. Now these radicals that who believes in the ideology of 1947, the Pakistani mindset people, they are trying to shut the voices in the collaboration of the Pakistan army and the deep states.
Right. Also, sir, if we talk about United Nations and its reaction, it says that verdict against Sheikh Hasina is important step for the victims, but regrets the death penalty. What do you feel about that?
That is because it is quite indicative from the UN that they are, because she was involved. Definitely she dealt the students brutally, and few of the students has been killed. But how come she is directly responsible, and how come she has been announced death penalty without a fair trial? And what she was in the street with the guns and all that, she was heading the country, and I think that fair chance would have been given, and I think that in the fair trial there would be some other verdicts. It's not the death penalty that they have come out. So I have all the sympathy from the victims who had been killed in the July Revolution. But what is happening in the post-July Revolution, still date the people are killed by the police, by the army, by the different agencies. And the most important thing is that the radicals, they are with the guns out in the street. They are just stopping everyone forcefully, or killing the people and minority communities. They are forced to flee. They are persecuted, and there are a number of cases reported in Bangladesh. So it's all anarchic situations, and I'm sorry that I never believed that Bangladesh would go in that way. Who had sacrificed, who had fought for the freedom and for the democracy and for the inclusivity.
All right. Also, India also says that it remains committed to the best interest of the people of Bangladesh. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and giving us all those.
India is a responsible regional power. India is the largest democracy. They are looking at how the democracy is democratic interest of the people of
Absolutely.
Bangladesh. So
absolutely.
There should be merit to undertake.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And moving on, a news coming in, update in the Delhi Red Fort blast case just coming in. Accused Jasir Bilal Wani alias Danish sent to 10 days National Investigation Agency custody. This was in connection with the Faridabad terror module bust and the Red Fort blast on November 10th. The accused, a resident of Kazigand in Anantnag district of Jammu and Kashmir, was an active co-conspirator behind the attack and had worked closely with the terrorist Umar Nabi to plan the terror carnage. Now, on Monday, NIA granted a 10-day custody to Umar's co-conspirator Amir Rashid Ali by the Patiala House Court. Kashmir resident Ali was arrested on Sunday. He reportedly conspired with Umar to carry out the terror attack. NIA continues to explore various angles to unravel the conspiracy behind the bombing. A news just coming in. As we told you, there's an update in the Delhi Red Fort blast case. Accused Jasir Bilal Wani alias Danish has been sent to 10-day NIA custody. Now, this was in connection with the Faridabad terror module bust and the Red Fort blast on the 10th of November. The accused, a resident of Kazigand in Anantnag district of Jammu and Kashmir, was an active co-conspirator behind the attack and had worked closely with the terrorist Umar Nabi to plan the terror carnage. Now, on Monday, NIA granted a 10-day custody to Umar's co-conspirator Amir Rashid Ali by the Patiala House Court, and Kashmir resident Ali was arrested on Sunday itself. He reportedly conspired with Umar to carry out the terror attack. NIA continues to explore various angles to unravel the conspiracy behind this bombing. And moving on, United Nations Security Council on Monday voted in favor of Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan, which includes the deployment of international forces. 13 countries, including the UK, France and Somalia, supported the proposal in the UNSC vote. Russia and China abstained from voting. Here's a report.
The UN Security Council has adopted a US resolution detailing the mandate for the Gaza International Stabilization Force outlined in Trump's ceasefire plan. The resolution was passed with 13 votes in favor and 0 votes against. It paves the way for the crucial next steps for the fragile ceasefire in Gaza. Russia and China abstained from the vote. Trump hailed the UN Security Council's vote, claiming it would lead to further peace all over the world.
The Board of Peace, and it's going to be comprised of myself and leaders of other very important nations and very respected nations, and it's going to be something I think is going to be very important. It was just approved. It was just endorsed by the United Nations. It was pretty great. It's a big thing. I think it's one of the most important things the United Nations will ever do, actually.
However, on the eve of the UN vote, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu restated his government's adamant opposition to the creation of a Palestinian state.
Our opposition to a Palestinian state in any territory west of the Jordan. This opposition exists is valid and has not changed one bit. I have been rebuffing these attempts for decades, and I am doing it both against pressure from outside and against pressure from within. So I do not need any affirmation, tweets, or lectures from anyone.
The resolution also welcomes the establishment of a Board of Peace as a transitional administration in Gaza. It authorizes the Board of Peace to establish a temporary international stabilization force in Gaza. Countries will contribute personnel to the force in close consultation with cooperation with Egypt and Israel. Hamas rejected the resolution, saying it failed to meet Palestinians' rights and demands. Anamika Pandey's report for DD India.
Well, moving on, the Republican-controlled U.S. House of Representatives will vote on Tuesday on forcing the release of investigative files on the late sex offender Epstein, with passage seen as all but guaranteed after President Donald Trump dropped his long-standing opposition. Now, Trump's reversal late on Sunday came days after the House petition gathered enough support to force a vote, a rare instance of House Republicans defying the president's wishes.
US lawmakers are bracing for a major showdown this week as the House prepares to vote on releasing long-sealed government files on convicted sex predator Jeffrey Epstein. The Epstein Files Transparency Act is expected to advance with a rare bipartisan backing after more than 100 Republicans joined Democrats in demanding the documents be made public. Lawmakers recently released a trove of emails obtained from Epstein's estate. In one such message, Epstein wrote that Trump spent hours with one of the victims at his house and another referred to the president as dirty. The revolt forced President Trump to reverse his opposition, saying lawmakers should vote for release, claiming he has nothing to hide.
Let the Senate look at it, let anybody look at it, but don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
The call for release of files continues to gain momentum. Many more survivors have not intensified their appeal for the same. A new video has also surfaced featuring the survivors who have urged Congress to act. Many are addressing the media directly and asking for the release of the files.
So much pain, so much pain, so much pain.
I beg you to release these files once and for all. I mean, there is no valid reason for refusing to do so. So you can't claim that it is to protect the victims. I mean, when it is the victims, myself and the victims, that have been calling for the files to be released.
If the bill clears the House, it faces a tougher path in the Senate, and Trump could still veto it, but public and political pressure for answers continues to grow. Many MAGA supporters have voiced their opposition to his stance earlier, which many believe played a part in Trump's reversal vis-a-vis the issue of the release of Epstein files. Anamika Pandey's report, TD India.
And moving on, Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs Nirmala Sitharaman on Tuesday chaired the 4th pre-budget consultation meeting in New Delhi with stakeholders from the capital market sector. This was held in preparation for the forthcoming Union Budget 2026 to 27. The deliberations focused on key inputs to shape fiscal policies enhancing market resilience, investment inflows and regulatory frameworks for securities and commodities exchanges. Well, the discussions covered innovation in financial instruments, digital infrastructure upgrades, and measures to bolster investor confidence amid global uncertainties. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. 4-time World Cup champion Germany finally secured their place in the 2026 edition with a 6-0 rout over Slovakia. It will be Germany's 21st appearance at the tournament, with the only 2 editions the country has missed. In the inaugural 1930 World Cup, it didn't enter, and in 1950, it was not allowed to participate. Now, the road was dramatic for Germany, which opened their Group A play with a loss to Slovakia. They recovered from only their 3rd loss ever in World Cup qualifying to reel off 5 consecutive victories. Now, Germany only needed a draw to secure a spot in the 2026 World Cup, but they put the game out of Slovakia's reach with 4 goals in the first half. Now, 3 times the World Cup runners-up, the Netherlands also secured the berth at the 2026 finals with an easy 4-0 victory over Lithuania, finishing top of Group G. The victory margin could have been even bigger, such was the Dutch dominance, but the result ensured they completed the campaign 3 points clear of second-placed Poland. The unbeaten Netherlands finished on 20 points. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available in both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.